Hello and welcome to this Android development tutorial. This is part 12 of how to make a file manager application. In this time, we will be fixing everything, cleaning the code, optimizing the architecture, and kind of getting it ready, okay? So we will run the application and start looking for some bugs and how can we fix them, okay? If we long click it and long click again, which is working, we can delete this file, pressing yes, and the file is not being updated. So we have to create a method to clean all of these code we have right here. So we will go from messy code to a lot of cleaner code. Okay? How do we do it? Okay, let's start reading the code from the top. Okay, so we start with the onCreate method setting content view. We have some variables right here which we use to figure out the current state of the application. Okay, which is great and useful. So when we initialize here our file manager, we start by setting the current path to the downloads folder, which is useful and great, right? So then we go and set the root path to the folder parent of the parent folder of the downloads folder, and then we go and set this directory, so dir is equal to new file current path. So here we should be able to call a method that will do this for us automatically without having to worry that much about all of this. So before the onResume method, we will create a method we will call private void update path. Okay, and what this update path method will do is we'll get this dir new file current path, and these files equals dir list files. So we will move those lines of code here. Okay, and then if we can see, we have the path output which is set to current path, which is great, and the files found count, which is files.length. So this should also be called from the update path. Basically every global variable that we use to access the other from the other methods, we need to do that from the update path. Okay, this file list right here enables us to set the data of the new files right here. So we should also call these from the update path. We should also call the selection these right here from the update path. Okay, so we will cut these and put it into update path, which will make our code a lot cleaner. So here we have text adapter that is not kind of working. So what we will do better, even better, is that we will set this to the refresh button, which will be a lot cleaner. So we will copy all of these of the update path, and we will change these, we will delete this update path, and we go to the refresh button right here. Okay, and we have to call all of these things from here. As you can see, if we paste these right here, we have lots of repeated lines, which is great, so we can optimize that. Now, the problem with these is that when we call onClick before we set this, we will have a sort of a problem, right? So we have to fix that. I will fix that later. But now, so just to remember these, we have to, okay, we will move these before the other stuff. So the first thing we will set will be the refresh button, or not really, because we can set the refresh button, and after we set this, we set the click listener, we will call it. So we'll say refresh button that call on click. just there, so we can refresh it. Okay, so that will be fixing our problems. Now inside the on-click listener of the refresh button, we will find a way to make it simpler. Okay, we will first change the directory with the new current path, then we will list the files, then the files count, then the files list. As you can see right here, we list the files, then we set the data with the files list. The problem is that when we set this new data, we can have the problem we had on the previous tutorial. So before we set data there, we have actually to go and set the selection. So before these, we will go and say we will set the selection. To do that, we will go before files list and paste this selection equals new boolean that files length, which we can replace files length with files found count, which is more efficient. And now we're gonna say text adapter 1 that set selection to selection. Okay, and then we can go file list and we set the adapter to all of these. Now after this set data, here we can see that we have repetition. Okay, all of these is repetition. Okay, the problem here is that when we refresh these, this refresh will be called from all different parts of the code, so we want to make it working really well. So we will comment these right here. Okay, and this new array list right here doesn't really need to be called every time, so we can put these outside the refresh button, like right here for example. Okay, and what we actually need to call is we have to clear the array list. So we're gonna say before this files list dot clear. Okay, we actually need to clear this. So we clear these, and I think it will be it. Now we will run the app and check that everything works fine. So we have here, we will delete these. We're doing lots of changes right here to make it work better. Okay, we'll run the app to check if everything is working fine. Let me see if it doesn't crash, hopefully. Okay, if I long click again, which is working great. Now we will go back to the code and try to find errors in the code. Okay, we have the refresh button, which basically does all this amazing stuff, which is very clean. And the go back button, what happens when we tap the go back button? Okay, we have to set, so the first check, it checks if the current path is the root path. If it's the root path, do nothing and just return. If it's not the root path, then go to the parent path. So this code, this line right here does just that. And here, instead of doing all of these dear new file current path, we can just call refresh button, because this already sets this. And we can also set the path output set text on the refresh button. So in theory, we can delete these two lines right here, and we can go to the refresh button and get this thing of path output right here, and we will move that line down here. Down here will be great. Okay, so on the go back button we have, and we set the new current path, which is the parent directory, and we refresh. So we just change one thing and we refresh. Now we can delete these other two lines right here. Okay, because we are doing all of that on the refresh, so we're cleaning the code even more. So when we just are changing the path and we are refreshing. When we refresh, the first thing we do is we set the path output to the new path. We create a new file with the current path. We list the files inside this path. Okay, we list the files, and we set the files found count. We go and set the selection. We clear the selection. Okay, we clear the file list and we get the new files list. Okay, it's great. Now, when we click on an item right here, we have to know if the item is a folder or not, which we are doing right here. So position should never be greater than file's length, right? So this was just a quick fix, so we can delete these lines right here. So if the file is a directory, we will switch to this new current path. Okay, we get files position and get absolute path. Okay, and we are just changing the path, so we can delete all of these lines right here, so because all of these is being done from the refresh button. Okay, so we can delete all of these lines and just say refresh button dot call on click. We are cleaning even more our code. Okay, then on list view on long click listener, we are just selecting this. So we set the long click flag to true. We select if this line right here, it says basically if it's selected, then unselected. If it's unselected, then selected. And now we set the selection to this new selection right here. Okay, and we are just changing the selection here, so we don't have to call the refresh because we are not refreshing everything, but only the selection. So selection count right here to know how many items are selected. So if selection count is greater than 0, which means at least one was selected, we check if it's 1, we will say show the rename functionality, because we are renaming just one file. If it's more than 1, then hide the rename functionality, but always show the button bar. And if it's not 1, so it's not anyone is selected, or it's something is unselected, we hide the button bar, right? So great. Now after this, we set and clear this long click flag, which is great. Now the first button, which is the delete, is about, do you really want to delete this? And it says delete file or folder, and we delete it. So now we will leave it here and run the app to check everything is working fine, and we will check especially the delete functionality. Okay, we will long click this and we will press del, delete, and yes, and it works great, right? So we'll delete the folder right now, delete, yes, and it works great. Okay, so it's working fine. Right now we go to the create new folder and check if it's working also great. Okay, so we go to new folder and press NF, and we will create folder tests. Okay, folder test, press an OK, and we have a folder test folder. If we go inside, if we go back, if we long click and delete, do you really want to delete? If I say no, okay, if I say no, this should be unselected. So on the delete method, when we say no, we have to unselect this. So right here, apart from hiding the dialog, we have to unselect the current selection. To do that, we will unselect basically everything. The simple way of doing this is just calling refresh. So we're going to call the refresh button that call on click. Okay, and we will test if that works. So lots of tiny stuff we have to test to make sure the app works great. So we long click and delete, and we say no, and we go, and now as you can see it's fixed. And if I long click this and delete and say yes, then it's deleted. If I want to delete the rows item right here, hopefully it works, delete, and it works. So it's great, working really great. Okay, the delete functionality is okay, the create a new folder is okay. Okay, the rename, now we will set if test the rename functionality to see if it's working fine or not. So we're gonna select the file, go to rename, and rename from image slides to image slides 1, 2, 3, for example. Rename, and we have image slides 1, 2, 3 here. But now if I go and select this again and I press rename, and if I cancel this, then this is not working as expected. Okay, so to do that, we will also set the negative button, the rename dialog right here. So we're going to say rename dialog that set negative button. The negative button will say rename, or it will be say cancel, maybe cancel will be great. Cancel and comma, we have to end it with semicolon, comma, and here we will say, how was that? New dialog interface on click listener. So you can say new dialog interface that on click listener, and when we say cancel, okay, apart from setting the dialog to be hidden, as we did right here, dialog cancel, here we will say dialog cancel, and we will refresh. So on rename, right here we will say dialog that cancel, and we're gonna say refresh button that call on click. Now we will run the app to check if this works fine or not. So we're running the app, we long click something, we press rename, and we place cancel, and it's not selected. So it's now fixed, which is great. Now we go and we have our copy button right here. Now let's see what it does. Okay, your copy button basically sets and saves the path. Basically that's what it does, it saves the path. But now we are not supporting a directory if we copy a directory. So if we copy a directory, we will return for now. So if files selected file index is directory, we will return and do nothing. And we will actually do something, which will be refresh button that call on click. Okay. Okay. I think that will be okay. So now we will try to copy a directory because we're not having that functionality yet. Okay, so we will long click this folder test and we press copy. Then we refresh and nothing happens, but the bar is still shown. So we have to fix that too. Or even better, when we show the bar, we will check if we have a folder, and if we have one, we will disable the copy option and just have the delete and rename option. Okay. Okay, is directory call on click. So we don't really have to check this here. What we will do is go and check on the long click listener of our list view. Okay, on long click listener, and when we show the bar right here, we will show the bar only if these we will show the bar, but we will check something else, and maybe we'll have to hide if the position is pointing to a folder. We will hide the copy button. Okay, so basically we'll say if files selected item index, or okay, we're enabling just these to copy. Okay, so if the selection is 1, and is not a folder, we will enable the copy button. So we go and say files. If files selected item index is a directory, so we want to check if not directory. So if it's not a directory, we will show the copy button. So find view by id art.id.copy, and we will say set visibility visible. Okay, we will set this to visible. And if not, then we will set the visibility to gone. So find view by art.id.copy, set visibility to gone. Okay, now we will run the app and check that everything works as we want. When we long click a folder, the copy option should not appear. So we long click and the copy option appears. So what's going on here? Okay, we have to change the copy option from on the layout to gone. So we're going to say visibility gone. We will run the app again to check if it works now. Okay, right now we long click a folder, and we can only delete the folder or rename the folder. And if we long click a file, we can copy the file. For example, copy, and we create a new folder. And in this new folder, we will go and say to paste, for example. And we open to paste, and we will paste it here. And it's not working that fine, but we will fix that just now. So when we are pasting inside a new folder, it doesn't work. So we will run again and test what happens if we paste outside. So maybe we need to refresh if I'm not wrong. Okay, so we will long click this, copy, and we will open to paste, and you have here it because we haven't refreshed. So we go paste and refresh, and we have this. So we're gonna copy these images.jpg, and then we're gonna click on copy. Then inside to paste, I will say paste and refresh, and images.jpg appears here. So we have to do that automatically. We have to fix that in order for us to not being forced to click the refresh button every time we do it. So we want to fix that on the paste method. Okay, so we have this is great, create folder is great, rename button is great, copy button is great, paste button. So here we have to do something else. We have to refresh. So we can again delete all of these lines right here and just go and say refresh button that call on click. And now we will, but before we call on click the refresh button, we have to change the current path. Is that correct? Not really. Okay, let's run to see if it works. So if copy and paste works, so now we'll copy this photo, this large file, large name, copy, and go inside to paste and paste, and it crashes. So what's going on? Let's see what's going on. So we have a sort of error right here. Let's check the error we are having. Okay. Here we have 245, and here, okay, we have around here the error. We're gonna figure out why is this happening. Oh, in rename, did I see it correctly? So I'm gonna open logcat to make sure we're actually doing the correct stuff here. Okay. We want to show only our application, so now we can have a better idea of what's going on. So index out of bounds, rename path, rename button. Okay, we'll run the app again. Maybe I misclicked a button. So we're gonna go long click, copy to paste, and we have an error right here. Okay, now we will check what's going on right here. Okay. When this error appeared was when we press on paste. So we go and say paste set visibility gone. We get the destination path. We copy the file and we are calling rename button. We have to call refresh button, so it's typing error actually, which is great to know. So refresh button, and now we will run the app again. So it's a typo there that caused the error, which is easy to fix. Now long click these, or long click maybe I will rename these images that JPEG first to images images test, for example. We'll rename, it works great. So images test, now I will copy it and go to paste and paste it here, and here we have the images test just there, which is working, which is great. Now the paste button is working awesome. Okay, we have the text adapter and everything else is working, I mean, great. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in a future video. Bye.